Welcome to Woo English, your go-to channel for learning English through captivating stories. We tell stories in clear and simple sentences to help you improve your English skills while having fun. As you listen, we encourage you to leave comments and let us know what you think of the story. Don't forget to hit the like button to show your support and help us keep creating great content for you. The story you're about to hear is educational, designed to boost your vocabulary and comprehension. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey with Woo English. Chapter 1. The Early Years. Marie Curie was born on November 7, 1867, in Warsaw, Poland, when the country was under Russian control. Her birth name was Maria Sklodowska, but she would later become known as Marie Curie. Her family was large and tight-knit, with a father who was a teacher and a mother who ran a girls' school. Despite the warmth and closeness of her family, Marie's childhood wasn't without its difficulties. Warsaw at that time was a city of contrasts. It had beautiful architecture and a rich history, but it was also a place of oppression. Russian authorities tightly controlled education and culture, making life difficult for many Polish people. Polish was not the official language, and the Russian rulers often tried to suppress Polish traditions and language. This created a sense of resistance among the Polish people, including Marie's family. Marie was the youngest of 5 children. Her older siblings were Zofia, Józef, Bronislawa, and Helena. They lived in a modest apartment where books and education were highly valued. Her father, Ladislaw Sklodowski, was a physics and mathematics teacher, and he encouraged his children to learn and explore. Marie was a bright and curious child, and she loved learning from her father. He had a collection of scientific instruments that he used for teaching, and Marie often played with them, fascinated by the way they worked. But life wasn't easy for the Sklodowski family. The Russian authorities imposed strict rules on schools and teachers, often targeting Polish educators. Władysław lost his teaching position because of his Polish heritage and his opposition to Russian control. This forced him to take lower-paying jobs, which meant the family had less money. Marie's mother, Bronislawa, had her own troubles. She was often ill and had to stop working at her school. Eventually, she was diagnosed with tuberculosis, a severe lung disease. Despite these hardships, the Sklodowski family remained strong and supportive of one another. Marie's siblings were also well educated, and they encouraged each other to excel in their studies. Education became a way for them to resist the oppression they felt from the Russian rulers. The family believed that knowledge was power, and they instilled that belief in young Marie. However, tragedy struck the family when Marie was just 10 years old. Her mother passed away from tuberculosis, leaving a huge void in their lives. Marie was devastated, and the loss of her mother had a profound effect on her. It made her more determined to succeed in her studies, as she knew her mother would have wanted her to achieve great things. This loss also brought her closer to her siblings and father, creating a strong bond that would last throughout her life. After her mother's death, Marie threw herself into her studies. She was a top student at her school, earning high marks in all her subjects. But being a bright and ambitious girl in a male-dominated society had its own challenges. Girls were not expected to excel in academics, and they were often discouraged from pursuing higher education. Yet Marie was not one to be easily discouraged. She had a strong will and a deep love for learning, especially in science and mathematics. As Marie grew older, she became more aware of the limitations placed on her because of her gender. In Warsaw, women were not allowed to attend university, and the opportunities for advanced education were limited. But Marie was determined to continue her studies, no matter the obstacles. She found a way to study secretly, attending a flying university, an underground network of educators who taught Polish students in secret to avoid Russian censorship. This secret education gave Marie the foundation she needed to dream of a life beyond Warsaw. She knew she wanted to study at a university, but to do that, she would need to leave Poland. This was a difficult decision for her, as it meant leaving her family and her home. But Marie's determination and passion for science were stronger than her fears. As Marie Curie entered her late teens, she began to make plans to move to Paris to pursue her education. Paris was a city of opportunities, a place where she could study at the Sorbonne, one of the most prestigious universities in Europe. But the journey ahead would not be easy. It would require courage, resilience, and a deep belief in her abilities. Marie Curie was ready to take the next step in her journey, one that would eventually lead her to become one of the most famous scientists in history. Chapter 2. The Loss of Family. Marie Curie, who was born as Maria Sklodowska in Warsaw, Poland, experienced profound losses early in her life. These tragedies would shape her character and influence the course of her education and career. The first significant loss occurred when she was just a young girl. Her mother, Bronislawa, was a hard-working woman who ran a girls' school while raising 5 children. But she was often ill, suffering from tuberculosis, a serious lung disease. This illness kept her bedridden for long periods, and it created a sense of unease in the Sklodowska household. Marie and her siblings tried to carry on as normally as possible, but they knew their mother was getting worse. Bronislawa's health continued to decline, and eventually she passed away when Marie was just 10 years old. The death of her mother was a crushing blow, not only to Marie, but also to the whole family. The Sklodowskis were a close-knit family, and losing their mother left them with a sense of emptiness and sadness that would linger for a long time. For Marie, the loss of her mother was more than just emotional. It also had practical implications. Bronislawa's death meant the family had less income, and her father, Władysław, had to work even harder to support his children. The household became more somber, with everyone taking on additional responsibilities to keep things running. Marie's older siblings stepped up to help, but the loss of their mother changed the dynamic of the family. Marie felt the impact of her mother's death in other ways as well. The girls' school that Bronislawa ran was more than just a source of income. It was also a place where education was valued and encouraged. Without her mother's presence, Marie lost a key source of inspiration and guidance. Yet, instead of becoming disheartened, she decided to dedicate herself to her studies. She believed that doing well in school would honor her mother's memory and bring some stability to her family. But tragedy was not done with the Sklodowski family. A few years after her mother's death, Marie's oldest sister, Zofia, also fell ill. Zofia had been a role model for Marie, always kind and supportive. When Zofia became sick, the family once again had to rally together. They hoped for the best, but tuberculosis was a relentless disease. Zofia's condition worsened, and soon she too passed away. This second loss struck the family hard, especially Marie. Losing both her mother and sister to the same disease left Marie feeling vulnerable and uncertain about the future. But it also made her more determined. She decided that she would not let these tragedies define her life. Instead, she focused on her education and her dreams of becoming a scientist. She knew that she had a talent for learning, especially in science and mathematics, and she was determined to use that talent to make a difference. Marie threw herself into her studies at school, earning top marks in every subject. She was focused and driven, often spending hours reading and solving math problems. Her teachers noticed her dedication and encouraged her to continue her studies. But Marie knew that being a girl in a male-dominated society would make her journey challenging. In Warsaw, women were not allowed to attend university, and the opportunities for advanced education were limited. These restrictions did not stop Marie. She found ways to pursue her education despite the obstacles. She attended a flying university, an underground network of educators who taught Polish students in secret to avoid Russian censorship. These secret classes gave Marie a taste of what it would be like to study at a university, and it fueled her desire to go beyond Warsaw and pursue a higher education. The losses Marie experienced in her early life had a profound impact on her. They taught her the value of perseverance and resilience. They also showed her the importance of family and support. Marie knew that her mother and sister would have wanted her to succeed, and she used their memories as motivation to push forward. As she grew older, Marie's determination to leave Poland and study in Paris became stronger. She knew it would be a difficult journey, but she was ready for the challenge. The losses she had endured had given her a sense of purpose and a drive to make a difference in the world of science. Marie Curie was on the path to becoming one of the most influential scientists in history, but her journey was just beginning. Chapter 3. A New Beginning in Paris. Marie Curie, born Maria Sklodowska in Warsaw, had always dreamed of going to Paris to study. After years of secret learning in Poland, where women were not allowed to attend university, she was ready for a new beginning. So, at the age of 24, she left her family and everything she knew to pursue her dream in the City of Light. Paris in the late 19th century was vibrant and full of life, but it was also overwhelming for someone like Marie. She arrived with little money and only a basic understanding of the French language. The bustling streets, the towering buildings, and the constant noise made her feel small and out of place. It was a stark contrast to the quieter, more familiar environment she had left behind in Warsaw. Marie found a tiny attic room to rent in the Latin Quarter, a part of Paris known for its universities and student life. The room was cramped and had only a small window, but it was all she could afford. She often ate bread and butter for meals because that was the cheapest food she could find. Despite the simple living conditions, Marie felt a sense of freedom and excitement. She was in Paris, the city of opportunity, and she was determined to make the most of it. Her goal was to enroll at the University of Paris, known as the Sorbonne. This university was prestigious, attracting some of the brightest minds in Europe. To be accepted, Marie had to prove her knowledge in physics and mathematics, which meant studying hard to pass the entrance exams. She spent hours at the library, often staying until it closed, immersing herself in textbooks and solving complex problems. The other students at the Sorbonne were mostly men, and many came from wealthy families. They had money for better rooms and more comfortable lives, while Marie had to balance her studies with the need to work and support herself. But she didn't let that discourage her. She was focused on her studies and determined to earn her degree, even if it meant long nights and early mornings. Marie's first semester at the Sorbonne was challenging. The lectures were fast-paced, and the professors expected a high level of understanding. She had to work twice as hard to keep up, especially with the language barrier. But Marie had a remarkable talent for learning. She quickly improved her French, and her passion for physics and mathematics helped her excel in her classes. During this time, Marie met other students who shared her love for science. They formed study groups, helping each other with difficult topics and discussing their dreams for the future. These new friends became a support system for Marie, giving her encouragement when she needed it most. They admired her determination and were inspired by her dedication to her studies. As the months passed, Marie's hard work began to pay off. She started to earn high marks on her exams, gaining recognition from her professors. They were impressed by her intelligence and dedication, often mentioning her in their lectures as an example of a student who never gave up. Marie's success at the Sorbonne was a testament to her resilience and her belief in the power of education. Outside of her studies, Marie explored the city of Paris. She walked along the Seine River, visited museums, and enjoyed the vibrant culture of the city. Despite her busy schedule, she made time to experience the beauty and history of Paris. These moments of exploration gave her a sense of balance, reminding her that life was about more than just work and study. Marie's journey in Paris wasn't easy, but it was filled with hope and possibility. She knew she was on the right path, even though it was filled with obstacles. Her time at the Sorbonne was the beginning of a new chapter in her life, one that would lead her to groundbreaking discoveries and international recognition. Chapter 4. Meeting Pierre Curie. Marie Curie was immersed in her studies at the Sorbonne when she first met Pierre Curie. It was 1894, and Marie was pursuing her degree in physics and mathematics, spending long hours in the university's laboratories and libraries. Her dedication to science was well known, and she was often seen working late into the night, her passion for learning evident to everyone around her. Pierre Curie was a distinguished scientist, known for his research in magnetism and crystallography. He was also a teacher at the School of Physics and Chemistry in Paris, where he conducted his experiments and taught classes. At 35, Pierre was 8 years older than Marie and had already made a name for himself in the scientific community. Yet, despite his success, he was a quiet and reserved man, preferring the solitude of his lab to the noise of social gatherings. Their first meeting was arranged by a mutual friend who thought they would have much in common. Marie was interested in Pierre's work, and he was intrigued by her intelligence and determination. They met at a dinner party where they discussed science and their shared love for research. The conversation flowed easily, and they found themselves talking long after the party had ended. Marie and Pierre quickly became friends, united by their passion for science. They began to spend more time together, discussing their experiments and exchanging ideas. Marie was drawn to Pierre's calm demeanor and vast knowledge, while Pierre admired Marie's curiosity and drive. It wasn't long before their professional relationship began to grow into something deeper. As they spent more time together, their bond grew stronger. They would often meet in Pierre's lab, where he showed Marie his latest experiments. She was fascinated by his work in magnetism, and he was eager to hear about her studies in radioactivity. Their conversations were filled with excitement and discovery, and they often lost track of time as they delved into complex scientific topics. Their relationship soon became romantic, though neither of them had been seeking it. They shared a mutual respect and admiration that gradually turned into love. Despite their growing feelings for each other, both Marie and Pierre were careful to keep their relationship private. They knew that the scientific community could be judgmental, especially when it came to personal relationships. In 1895, Pierre proposed to Marie. It was a simple proposal, without grand gestures or elaborate plans. He asked her to marry him during one of their many conversations about science and life. and she accepted without hesitation. Their wedding was a modest affair, reflecting their down-to-earth personalities. They chose a simple ceremony at a local town hall, with only a few close friends and family members in attendance. After their wedding, Marie and Pierre continued their scientific work, now as husband and wife. They set up a laboratory in a small room at the School of Physics and Chemistry, where they conducted their experiments together. The lab was cramped and had limited equipment, but they made the best of what they had. They spent countless hours working side by side, their hands stained with chemicals, and their faces lit up with excitement. Their scientific collaboration was seamless. Marie and Pierre complemented each other in their research, each bringing unique skills to the table. Marie was meticulous and patient, while Pierre was innovative and analytical. Together, they formed a formidable team, driven by their shared passion for discovery. Their work in the lab was not without its challenges. The experiments they conducted often involved dangerous chemicals and intense radiation, but they were willing to take risks to achieve their goals. They discovered new elements, including polonium and radium, and their groundbreaking research in radioactivity earned them recognition in the scientific community. Marie and Pierre's relationship was more than just a romantic partnership. It was a partnership of minds. They supported each other through the highs and lows of scientific research, always encouraging each other to push the boundaries of knowledge. Their love for science and for each other was a driving force that would lead them to achieve great things. Their journey together was just beginning, and their collaboration would eventually lead them to the Nobel Prize and international acclaim. But at the heart of it all was the simple connection between two people who shared a passion for science and a deep respect for one another. This bond would carry them through the challenges ahead and inspire them to continue their work, no matter the obstacles. Chapter 5. The Discovery of Radioactivity. Marie Curie, alongside her husband Pierre Curie, began their exploration into radioactivity in the late 1890s. It was a time of great curiosity and rapid scientific progress. In 1896, a French scientist named Henri Becquerel discovered that uranium, a heavy metal, could emit rays that penetrated solid objects. This discovery intrigued Marie, who had a passion for studying new phenomena. She decided to investigate further, not knowing that her research would lead to groundbreaking findings that would change the course of science. The first step in Marie's research was to test various materials to see if they also emitted these mysterious rays. She used a device called an electrometer, which measured electrical charge to detect the rays. If the material emitted rays, it would change the charge on the electrometer's needle. Marie spent countless hours in her small laboratory, testing different substances and recording her results. It was meticulous work, requiring patience and careful observation. As Marie worked, she noticed something unusual. Some of the materials she tested emitted more rays than she expected. These materials were not just ordinary metals, but ores, rocks that contained metal along with other substances. One of these ores was pitchblende, a dark, heavy rock that contained uranium. Pitchblende emitted much more radiation than uranium alone, suggesting there was something else in the ore producing these rays. Marie knew she was onto something significant. She brought her findings to Pierre, and they began working together to solve the mystery. They hypothesized that there were other elements in the pitchblende responsible for the extra radiation. The challenge was to separate these elements from the ore, to identify them. This process, known as chemical separation, was laborious and required a lot of trial and error. The laboratory where Marie and Pierre worked was small and cramped, with limited equipment. They had a large cauldron for heating substances and a small fume hood to vent toxic gases. Despite these conditions, they were determined to continue their research. They ground the pitchblende into a fine powder, then used chemicals to separate the different elements. It was a messy and exhausting process, often filling the lab with dust and fumes. Months passed, and the work was slow. But Marie and Pierre's perseverance paid off. They discovered a new element, which they named polonium, after Marie's home country of Poland. Polonium emitted powerful rays, even more than uranium. The Curies were thrilled with this discovery, but they knew their work was not finished. There was still more radiation coming from the pitchblende, indicating the presence of yet another unknown element. Marie and Pierre continued their experiments, refining their techniques to isolate the new element. The process required enormous quantities of pitchblende, which they obtained from a mine in Bohemia. They worked tirelessly, boiling, filtering, and precipitating the ore until they finally isolated the second new element. This element emitted intense rays and glowed with a faint blue light. They named it radium from the Latin word radius, meaning ray. The discovery of radium was groundbreaking. It was unlike any other element known at the time, with properties that defied traditional scientific understanding. Radium was incredibly radioactive, releasing energy at a rate far beyond what anyone had seen before. The Curie's discovery opened a whole new field of research into radioactivity, with potential applications in medicine, industry, and other areas. However, the discovery of these new elements came with risks. Marie and Pierre did not fully understand the dangers of radiation exposure. They handled radioactive materials with minimal protection, often suffering burns and other health effects as a result. Despite these risks, they were committed to their work, driven by the excitement of exploring uncharted scientific territory. The Curie's research attracted international attention, and their discoveries were hailed as revolutionary. In 1903, they, along with Henry Becquerel, were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for their work on radioactivity. This recognition was a significant milestone, but for Marie and Pierre, it was just the beginning. They knew that the study of radioactivity held enormous potential, and they were eager to continue their experiments. The discovery of radioactivity changed the course of science and laid the groundwork for many future advancements. Marie and Pierre Curie's dedication and persistence were the driving forces behind this transformation. Despite the challenges and risks, they continued to push the boundaries of knowledge, leading to discoveries that would have a lasting impact on the world. Chapter 6. The Nobel Prize. In 1903, Marie and Pierre Curie were about to receive the highest honor in science, the Nobel Prize in Physics. Their groundbreaking work on radioactivity had captured the attention of scientists around the world, and their discoveries of the elements polonium and radium were considered revolutionary. But the journey to this moment was far from straightforward, and the recognition came with both triumphs and challenges. The Nobel Prize was a prestigious award established by Alfred Nobel, a Swedish chemist and inventor. It was designed to honor those who had made significant contributions to science, literature, and peace. Winning this prize was a monumental achievement, and the Curies were among the first to be recognized for their work in physics. Marie and Pierre were deeply involved in their research, spending long hours in their modest laboratory. They were fascinated by the properties of radium and its potential applications in medicine and industry. However, The couple did not anticipate the level of attention their work would attract. Scientists from across Europe were curious about their discoveries, and many wanted to collaborate with them. When the Nobel Prize Committee announced that Marie and Pierre Curie, along with Henri Becquerel, were the recipients of the Nobel Prize in Physics for 1903, it was a moment of great joy and surprise. The news spread quickly, and the Curies found themselves in the spotlight. Journalists wanted to interview them, and scientists wanted to learn more about their experiments. It was a new and somewhat uncomfortable experience for the couple, who were used to working quietly in their lab. The Nobel Prize ceremony took place in Stockholm, Sweden, and it was a grand affair. The Curies travelled from Paris to Stockholm, where they were greeted by enthusiastic crowds. It was a significant event, with kings, queens, and other dignitaries in attendance. Marie and Pierre, who were not accustomed to such formalities, felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. They were not accustomed to fancy clothes or elaborate ceremonies, but they understood the importance of the occasion. During the ceremony, the Nobel Prize Committee praised the Curies for their groundbreaking work on radioactivity. Marie and Pierre, along with Henri Becquerel, were awarded gold medals and certificates. The audience applauded enthusiastically, recognizing the impact of their discoveries. It was a moment of validation for the Curies, confirming that their hard work and dedication had made a significant difference in the world of science. Winning the Nobel Prize had a profound impact on the Curies' lives. It brought them international recognition, but it also came with new responsibilities. They were invited to speak at conferences and give lectures, and they received offers to collaborate with other scientists. The Curies were honored by the attention, but they were also wary of becoming too distracted from their research. They valued their time in the laboratory and did not want the fame to interfere with their work. Marie, in particular, faced unique challenges as a woman in science. At the time, the scientific community was dominated by men, and many did not believe that women could make significant contributions to science. Winning the Nobel Prize was a significant achievement for Marie, but it also drew attention to her gender. Some people questioned whether she deserved the award, suggesting that Pierre was the real genius behind the discoveries. This kind of criticism was hurtful, but Marie remained focused on her work, refusing to let it deter her. The Nobel Prize also brought financial rewards. The prize money allowed the Curies to improve their laboratory and acquire better equipment. This was a significant benefit, as they had been working with limited resources for years. The new funding enabled them to continue their research and expand their experiments, exploring the properties of radium and its potential applications. Despite the fame and recognition, Marie and Pierre Curie remained humble and dedicated to their work. They continued to spend long hours in the lab, pursuing new discoveries and expanding their understanding of radioactivity. The Nobel Prize was a significant milestone in their careers, but it was not the end of their journey. They knew that there was still much to learn, and they were determined to continue pushing the boundaries of science. The Nobel Prize in Physics marked a turning point for the Curies, propelling them into the international spotlight. It was a recognition of their groundbreaking work and a validation of their dedication to science. But for Marie and Pierre, the true reward was the opportunity to continue their research and make a lasting impact on the world. They remained committed to their work, inspired by the possibilities that lay ahead. Chapter 7. A Sudden Loss. On a rainy April day in 1906, life changed forever for Marie Curie. Her husband, Pierre Curie, had gone into the city for a meeting, It was just a normal day, with nothing out of the ordinary. But as he crossed a busy street, he didn't see the horse-drawn carriage coming. In a sudden, tragic moment, Pierre was struck and killed instantly. The news spread quickly through Paris, and soon it reached Marie. She was at home when she heard about the accident, and her heart sank. She couldn't believe it. Pierre was gone. Marie and Pierre had been more than just husband and wife. They were partners in every sense of the word. They shared a passion for science and worked together on groundbreaking research in radioactivity. They were a team, always encouraging and supporting each other. Losing Pierre was not just a personal loss. It was a blow to her entire world. The days following Pierre's death were a blur for Marie. She felt a mix of shock, disbelief, and overwhelming sadness. The thought of facing life without him was unimaginable. They had plans and dreams, both for their family and their work, and now everything seemed uncertain. She was left with 2 young daughters, Irene and Eve, to care for, along with a legacy of scientific research to continue. It was a heavy burden to bear. As Marie mourned, she found herself surrounded by friends, family, and colleagues who wanted to offer comfort and support. But the loss was too deep for words to ease. She spent long hours alone in their laboratory, looking at the tools and equipment they had used together. Everything reminded her of Pierre. Their notes, their experiments, even the simple things like the coffee cups they used during late-night work sessions. The emptiness was overwhelming. Marie knew that she had to be strong, especially for her daughters. They had lost their father, and they needed her more than ever. She tried to keep their routines as normal as possible, taking them to school and spending time with them in the evenings. But it was difficult to hide her grief. There were times when she couldn't help but cry, and her daughters would hug her, offering comfort in their own way. Marie's heart was broken, but she knew she had to find a way to move forward. One of the things that helped Marie cope with her loss was her work. Even though it was painful to return to the lab without Pierre, she knew he would have wanted her to continue their research. The work they had started was too important to abandon. It was a way for her to keep his memory alive and to honor the partnership they had shared. Marie took on more responsibilities at the university, teaching classes and continuing the experiments they had begun together. It wasn't easy, especially in a male-dominated field where many doubted a woman's ability to lead scientific research. But Marie was determined to prove them wrong. She became the first woman to hold a professorship at the University of Paris, stepping into the role that Pierre had held before his death. It was a significant achievement, but it came with its own set of challenges. As she worked to rebuild her life, Marie found solace in the memories of Pierre. She often remembered the times they spent discussing science and planning their experiments. Those moments gave her strength, reminding her of the love and support they had shared. She also found comfort in the support of her colleagues, who respected her dedication and admired her resilience. Despite the overwhelming grief, Marie's determination to continue their work never wavered. She believed that their research in radioactivity had the potential to change the world, and she was committed to seeing it through. It wasn't just about fulfilling a promise to Pierre, it was about contributing to the field of science and making a difference. Over time, Marie's grief became more manageable, though the pain of losing Pierre never truly went away. She focused on her work and her daughters, finding new ways to honor Pierre's memory. She established the Radium Institute in his name, dedicated to advancing research in radioactivity. It became a place where scientists from around the world could come to learn and collaborate, continuing the work that she and Pierre had started. Marie Curie's journey through grief was a testament to her strength and resilience. Despite the sudden loss of her husband and partner, she found a way to keep going, driven by her passion for science and her love for her family. The road ahead would not be easy, but she was determined to honor Pierre's legacy by continuing their work and making a lasting impact on the world. Chapter 8. A Woman in Science. After the sudden death of her husband, Pierre Curie, Marie Curie was thrust into a challenging role. She had not only lost her life partner, but also her closest collaborator in the scientific community. Yet, amidst her grief, Marie was determined to continue their work on radioactivity. However, being a woman in science at the start of the 20th century wasn't easy. The scientific world was dominated by men who often viewed women as less capable. Marie knew she would face significant obstacles, but her determination was unwavering. Marie returned to the laboratory, where she and Pierre had spent countless hours experimenting and discovering new elements. It felt different without him, the space seeming colder and lonelier. Yet the work was important, and Marie had promised herself to carry it on. She knew that continuing the research wasn't just about honoring Pierre's memory, it was about pushing the boundaries of science and making a difference in the world. However, her journey was filled with challenges. The scientific community had always been skeptical of women, and many believed that Pierre was the true genius behind their discoveries. Marie faced questions about her abilities, and even her legitimacy as a scientist. Some critics claimed that she had simply inherited Pierre's work, and didn't deserve the same recognition. This constant doubt made it difficult for Marie to find support and funding for her research. Despite these setbacks, Marie's dedication to science was unshakable. She was determined to prove herself and show that she was as capable as any male scientist. She continued her experiments, often working long hours in the lab. The work was physically demanding and sometimes dangerous, but Marie wasn't afraid of hard work. She knew that her discoveries could lead to significant advancements in science and medicine, and that was all the motivation she needed. Marie also took on the role of teaching at the Sorbonne, a prestigious university in Paris. This was a significant achievement, as she became the first woman to hold a professorship there. The position wasn't just an honor, it was a sign that the scientific community was beginning to recognize her talent and expertise. However, her new role came with its own set of challenges. Many students and faculty members were skeptical of a female professor, and Marie had to work twice as hard to earn their respect. In her lectures, Marie's passion for science was evident. She spoke with confidence and clarity, explaining complex concepts in ways that her students could understand. She was patient and encouraged questions, creating an environment where everyone felt valued. Over time, her students began to see her not just as a professor, but as a mentor and role model. They admired her dedication and her ability to overcome obstacles, and they were inspired by her journey. Outside the classroom, Marie continued to face discrimination and prejudice. She was often excluded from scientific conferences and meetings where men dominated the discussions. Despite these barriers, she found ways to make her voice heard. She published research papers and shared her findings with other scientists, building a reputation as a respected researcher. Her work on radioactivity continued to gain attention, and she was invited to collaborate with scientists from around the world. Marie Curie's perseverance and resilience were remarkable. She faced significant obstacles as a woman in science, but she never let them define her. Instead, she used them as fuel to work harder and push the boundaries of what was possible. Her success wasn't just about her intelligence, it was about her unwavering commitment to her work and her belief in the power of science to change the world. As she continued her research and teaching, Marie's influence grew. She became a symbol of strength and determination, inspiring other women to pursue careers in science. Her journey showed that women could achieve greatness, even in a field dominated by men. Marie Curie's impact on the scientific community was profound, and her legacy would continue to inspire generations to come. Despite the many challenges she faced, she never gave up, proving that with perseverance and determination, anything is possible. Chapter 9. The Second Nobel Prize. Marie Curie had already made history by becoming the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. She and her husband, Pierre Curie, along with Henri Becquerel, received the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903 for their work on radioactivity. But Marie's journey was far from over. After the tragic death of Pierre, she continued her research with a fierce determination, pushing the boundaries of science. In 1911, she achieved an extraordinary feat by winning a second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry. Winning a Nobel Prize is a significant accomplishment, but winning too is rare. Marie Curie was the first person ever to achieve this, and her work on radioactivity had a lasting impact on the scientific community. The second Nobel Prize recognized her discovery and isolation of radium and polonium, the radioactive elements that she and Pierre had been working on before his untimely death. Marie Curie's research was groundbreaking because it changed the way scientists understood the structure of atoms. Before her work, the concept of radioactivity was relatively new, and its implications were not fully understood. Marie's experiments demonstrated that some elements emitted powerful radiation, and this radiation could be used in various applications, from medical treatments to industrial processes. Her discoveries opened up a whole new field of research, and scientists around the world were eager to learn from her. Despite her groundbreaking achievements, Marie faced significant challenges in the scientific community. Many of her male colleagues were reluctant to acknowledge her accomplishments, and some even questioned her right to be in the field of chemistry. There were rumors and gossip, with some suggesting that she had not really done the work herself, but Marie's results spoke for themselves. She had meticulously documented her experiments, providing clear evidence of her discoveries. The Nobel Prize in Chemistry was a turning point for Marie. It solidified her position as one of the leading scientists of her time, and it gave her the platform to share her knowledge with others. She used the prize money to fund her research and improve her laboratory. This support allowed her to continue her work on radioactivity and explore new areas of study. With more resources at her disposal, she could investigate the properties of radium and polonium in greater detail. Marie Curie's work had broader implications beyond the laboratory. Her discoveries in radioactivity led to new medical treatments, particularly in the field of oncology. Radium, one of the elements she isolated, was used to treat cancer patients, offering hope to those with previously untreatable conditions. This application of her research demonstrated the real-world impact of her work and showed that science could be used to improve people's lives. The recognition from the Nobel Prize also brought new opportunities for Marie. She was invited to speak at conferences and universities, where she shared her knowledge and inspired the next generation of scientists. Despite her fame, Marie remained humble and focused on her work. She knew that there was still much to learn, and she was determined to continue her research, regardless of the obstacles. Marie's journey to her second Nobel Prize was a testament to her perseverance and dedication. She had faced personal loss and discrimination, yet she never gave up on her passion for science. Her achievements paved the way for future scientists, especially women, to pursue careers in fields that had traditionally been dominated by men. She showed that with hard work and determination, anything was possible. Marie Curie's second Nobel Prize was a significant milestone, but it was not the end of her journey. She continued to explore new areas of research, always looking for ways to expand her knowledge. Her work laid the foundation for modern physics and chemistry, and her discoveries continue to influence scientific research to this day. Marie Curie's story is one of triumph over adversity. She faced immense challenges, yet she never lost sight of her goals. Her second Nobel Prize was a testament to her extraordinary contributions to science, and it solidified her legacy as one of the greatest scientists of all time. Through her work, she inspired generations of scientists and proved that with determination and courage, even the most difficult obstacles could be overcome. Chapter 10. The Radium Institute. Marie Curie was no stranger to overcoming obstacles. Having already made history by becoming the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in physics and chemistry, she had faced discrimination and personal tragedy. Yet her determination to advance the field of radioactivity never wavered. In 1914, she founded the Radium Institute in Paris, a research center dedicated to the study of radioactivity and its applications. This chapter explores her leadership in establishing the institute and how it became a beacon of scientific innovation. The Radium Institute, known as the Institut du Radium in French, was the culmination of Marie Curie's vision. She had long dreamed of creating a space where scientists could work together to explore the mysteries of radioactivity. The institute was more than just a laboratory. It was a hub for collaboration, where researchers from different fields could share their knowledge and push the boundaries of science. Marie played a central role in building the Radium Institute from the ground up. She was involved in every aspect of its creation, from securing funding to designing the laboratory spaces. It was a challenging task, especially for a woman in a male-dominated field, but Marie was undeterred. She reached out to influential scientists and philanthropists, explaining the potential of radioactivity and its applications in medicine and industry. Her passion and dedication convinced many to support the project. The Radium Institute was designed with a clear focus on scientific research. It had state-of-the-art equipment for studying radioactivity, as well as facilities for isolating and purifying radium and polonium. Marie wanted the institute to be a place where scientists could experiment freely, without the constraints often imposed by traditional academic institutions. She encouraged creativity and innovation, believing that these qualities were essential for making significant scientific breakthroughs. As the Radium Institute grew, Marie's role as a leader became more prominent. She was responsible for managing the day-to-day operations, guiding research projects, and mentoring young scientists. It was a demanding role, but Marie thrived in it. She had a talent for bringing people together and inspiring them to do their best work. Her leadership style was collaborative, encouraging open communication and the sharing of ideas. One of the key goals of the Radium Institute was to explore the medical applications of radioactivity. Marie was particularly interested in how radium could be used to treat cancer and other diseases. She established a medical research department within the institute, where doctors and scientists could work together to develop new treatments. This interdisciplinary approach was innovative for its time, and it laid the foundation for modern radiation therapy. The Radium Institute quickly gained a reputation as a center of scientific excellence. Researchers from around the world came to study and collaborate with Marie and her team. The institute became a hub for international scientific exchange, fostering a spirit of cooperation and innovation. Marie's leadership and expertise were instrumental in attracting top talent to the institute, creating a vibrant and dynamic research community. Despite the success of the Radium Institute, Marie faced ongoing challenges. The dangers of radioactivity were becoming more apparent, and safety concerns were a constant issue. Marie herself suffered from the effects of prolonged exposure to radiation, experiencing fatigue and other health problems. Yet she remained committed to her work, believing that the potential benefits of radioactivity outweighed the risks. Marie Curie's dedication to the Radium Institute was a testament to her passion for science and her desire to make a difference in the world. She worked tirelessly to ensure that the Institute remained at the forefront of scientific research, always seeking new ways to advance the field of radioactivity. Her leadership and vision were the driving forces behind the Institute's success, and her contributions laid the groundwork for many future discoveries. The Radium Institute became a symbol of Marie Curie's enduring legacy. It was a place where innovation and collaboration thrived, and where scientific progress was made possible through hard work and determination. Marie's leadership and commitment to the Institute inspired generations of scientists, proving that with vision and perseverance, great things could be achieved. The story of the Radium Institute is a story of triumph over adversity, and it remains a shining example of the power of science to change the world. Chapter 11. The Impact of World War I. When World War I broke out in 1914, it was a shock to many people, including Marie Curie. The war brought destruction and chaos across Europe, changing the course of history. Cities were in ruins, families were torn apart, and millions of soldiers and civilians lost their lives. It was a time of great suffering and uncertainty. Despite the chaos, Marie Curie saw an opportunity to use her knowledge of science to help those in need. She was determined to make a difference, even on the battlefield. Marie had already made a name for herself as a pioneering scientist, but when the war began, she shifted her focus to helping soldiers who were injured in combat. She realized that one of the biggest challenges for doctors on the front lines was diagnosing injuries quickly and accurately. Without proper medical equipment, doctors struggled to treat the wounded. Marie knew that X-rays, a technology she was familiar with from her work with radioactivity, could be the key to solving this problem. X-rays were a relatively new technology at the time, but they had the potential to revolutionize medical treatment. By taking X-ray images, doctors could see inside a patient's body to locate broken bones, bullets, and other injuries. This allowed them to perform surgeries more effectively and save more lives. Marie decided to create mobile X-ray units that could be used on the battlefield, bringing this technology directly to the front lines. Marie worked tirelessly to make her vision a reality. She partnered with other scientists and engineers to design and build mobile X-ray units. These units were small enough to be transported in vehicles, allowing them to move with the army as it advanced or retreated. She raised funds to support the project, reaching out to wealthy donors and organizations that shared her commitment to helping soldiers. The mobile X-ray units, which became known as Petites Curies or Little Curies, were a game-changer on the battlefield. Marie and her team trained doctors and nurses to use the equipment, teaching them how to take X-ray images and interpret the results. This training was crucial, as it ensured that the technology was used effectively to save lives. Marie's dedication to this project was remarkable. She traveled to the front lines herself, often risking her safety, to ensure that the units were working properly and that medical staff had the support they needed. The impact of the mobile X-ray units was profound. They allowed doctors to diagnose injuries quickly, which meant that soldiers received the treatment they needed without delay. This rapid response saved countless lives and reduced the suffering of wounded soldiers. The Petites Curies became a symbol of hope amid the horrors of war, a reminder that even in the darkest times, science could be a force for good. Marie Curie's commitment to this project went beyond the battlefield. She established a training program for nurses, teaching them how to use X-rays in medical care. This program helped expand the use of X-rays beyond the military, paving the way for their adoption in civilian hospitals and clinics. Marie's work during World War I demonstrated her dedication to using science to improve people's lives, and it highlighted her ability to find innovative solutions in challenging circumstances. Despite the success of the mobile X-ray units, Marie faced criticism and skepticism from some quarters. As a woman leading a project on the front lines, she encountered resistance from those who believed that women had no place in war zones. But Marie's determination and expertise silenced the critics. Her work was recognized by the French government, and she received honors for her contributions to the war effort. After the war, Marie's work with X-rays continued to have a lasting impact. The technology she helped popularize became a standard tool in medical diagnostics, revolutionizing the field of healthcare. Her efforts during World War I were a testament to her resilience and her unwavering commitment to using science for the greater good. Marie Curie's role in World War I is a story of courage and innovation. She saw a need and used her knowledge to make a difference, even in the most challenging of circumstances. Her work with mobile X-ray units not only saved lives on the battlefield, but also laid the foundation for future advancements in medical care. It was a remarkable achievement, and it demonstrated that even in times of great suffering, one person could make a profound difference. Chapter 12. A Global Icon. Marie Curie was not just a brilliant scientist, she was also a global icon. Her groundbreaking discoveries in radioactivity and her 2 Nobel Prizes, one in physics and another in chemistry, made her a household name around the world. But her fame went beyond her scientific achievements. Marie Curie became a symbol of perseverance, resilience, and the pursuit of knowledge. Her life story inspired millions, and her work changed the course of science. The recognition Marie received was remarkable, especially considering the challenges she faced as a woman in a male-dominated field. At a time when women were often excluded from higher education and professional opportunities, Marie broke through barriers and proved that gender did not define one's capabilities. Her success was a beacon of hope for women everywhere, showing them that they could achieve greatness through hard work and determination. As Marie's fame grew, she was invited to speak at universities and scientific conferences around the world. These invitations were significant, as they represented a shift in the scientific community's attitude toward women. Marie's presence at these events was groundbreaking. She was often the only woman in a sea of men. But she carried herself with confidence and grace, earning the respect of her peers. Marie Curie's role as a trailblazer for women in science was not limited to her public appearances. She also used her influence to advocate for greater opportunities for women in education and research. She mentored young female scientists, encouraging them to pursue their dreams and not be deterred by societal expectations. Marie believed that knowledge should be accessible to everyone, regardless of gender, and she worked to make that a reality. Beyond her work in the scientific community, Marie's humanitarian efforts contributed to her status as a global icon. During World War I, she created mobile X-ray units to help treat wounded soldiers on the battlefield. This innovative approach to medical care saved countless lives and earned her the admiration of people around the world. Marie's commitment to using science for the greater good demonstrated that she was not only a brilliant researcher, but also a compassionate human being. As her reputation grew, Marie Curie became a sought-after speaker and lecturer. She traveled to the United States, where she was greeted with enthusiasm and admiration. During her visits, she raised funds to support her research and the work of the Radium Institute in Paris. These trips were an opportunity for Marie to share her knowledge and inspire a new generation of scientists, particularly women, to follow in her footsteps. One of the most significant moments in Marie's career came in 1921, when she visited the United States to receive a gift of radium from President Warren G. Harding. This gift was a testament to her impact on the scientific community and her role as a global icon. The ceremony, held at the White House, was a grand affair, with dignitaries and scientists in attendance. Marie's presence on such a prominent stage was a powerful statement about the progress women had made in science. Despite her fame and recognition, Marie Curie remained humble and focused on her work. She continued to conduct experiments and publish research, always seeking to expand her understanding of radioactivity. Her commitment to science never wavered, even as her health began to decline due to years of exposure to radiation. Marie's dedication to her work was a source of inspiration for those around her, and she became a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. Marie Curie's journey from a young girl in Poland to a global icon was nothing short of extraordinary. She overcame countless obstacles and broke through barriers that had held women back for generations. Her scientific achievements and humanitarian efforts made her a beloved figure worldwide, and her legacy continues to inspire people to this day. Marie Curie's story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of following one's passion. She showed that even in a world filled with challenges and discrimination, it is possible to make a significant impact. Her journey serves as a reminder that one person with enough determination and courage can change the world. Chapter 13. The Legacy of Radium. Marie Curie's work with radium was revolutionary. She and her husband, Pierre Curie, discovered this radioactive element and found it to be immensely powerful. It emitted energy that could penetrate solid objects, which led to groundbreaking applications in medicine and industry. However, this power also came with significant risks. Over time, it became clear that radium, and radioactivity in general, could be hazardous to human health. This chapter explores the dangers of radiation and how Marie's research contributed to developing new safety protocols in the scientific community. In the early days of their experiments, the Curies didn't fully understand the risks of working with radioactive materials. They often handled radium without protective gear, storing it in glass containers and working with it in cramped, poorly ventilated laboratories. The glowing blue light of radium fascinated them, and they marveled at its unique properties. But they were unaware of the potential harm it could cause. As radium became more widely known, its applications expanded rapidly. It was used in medical treatments, such as radiotherapy, to target cancer cells. It was also used in consumer products, like luminous paint for watches and clock dials, The public was captivated by the miracle element, and companies marketed radium-based products as safe and beneficial. However, the long-term effects of radiation exposure were not well understood, and many people were unknowingly putting themselves at risk. Marie Curie began to experience health problems due to her prolonged exposure to radium. She often felt fatigued and had persistent aches and pains. Despite these symptoms, she continued her work, believing that the benefits of her research outweighed the risks. It wasn't until later that the scientific community realized the dangers of radiation and began to implement safety measures to protect researchers and the public. One of the most tragic examples of the dangers of radium was the case of the Radium Girls. These were young women who worked in factories, painting watch dials with luminous radium-based paint. They were encouraged to lick the tips of their brushes to create fine points, which led to them ingesting radium. Over time, these women developed severe health problems, including bone fractures, anemia, and cancer. Their suffering brought attention to the dangers of radium and the need for stricter safety protocols. Marie Curie's research played a crucial role in understanding the risks of radioactivity. As her health continued to decline, she became more aware of the potential dangers of working with radium. She advocated for better safety measures in laboratories, emphasizing the importance of proper ventilation and protective gear. Her warnings and recommendations helped shift the scientific community's approach to working with radioactive materials. Despite the risks, Marie Curie's commitment to her research never wavered. She believed that radium had the potential to revolutionize medicine and that it could be used to help people. Her work with radiotherapy demonstrated the potential benefits of using radiation to target cancer cells, offering hope to those with previously untreatable conditions. However, she also understood that safety had to be a priority, and she worked to ensure that future generations of scientists would have the knowledge and tools to protect themselves. The legacy of radium is complex. On one hand, it opened the door to new medical treatments and scientific discoveries. On the other hand, it revealed the dangers of radiation exposure and the need for caution when working with radioactive materials. Marie Curie's research was instrumental in raising awareness about these risks and driving the development of safety protocols that are still in use today. Marie Curie's journey with radium is a story of triumph and tragedy. Her discoveries revolutionized science, but they also came at a great cost to her health. She dedicated her life to advancing knowledge and helping others, even as she faced the consequences of prolonged radiation exposure. Her legacy serves as a reminder that with great power comes great responsibility, and that the pursuit of scientific progress must always be balanced with a commitment to safety and ethical practices. As the scientific community continued to explore the potential of radioactivity, Marie Curie's work became a foundation for future research. Her contributions to the field of radiotherapy saved countless lives, and her warnings about the dangers of radiation helped establish safety standards that protect scientists and the public. Despite the risks, Marie's dedication to her work and her desire to make a difference left a lasting impact on the world. Chapter 14. Inspiring Future Generations. Marie Curie's journey from a young girl in Poland to a Nobel Prize-winning scientist is a story of triumph and determination. Her work in the field of radioactivity revolutionized science, but her influence extended far beyond her discoveries. Marie's life story inspired countless people, especially young scientists and women who saw her as a role model. This chapter explores Marie's role as a mentor and her lasting impact on the scientific world, demonstrating how her legacy continues to inspire future generations. Marie Curie had always been passionate about learning and teaching. Throughout her career, she made it a priority to share her knowledge with others, believing that education was the key to progress. She became a professor at the Sorbonne, one of the most prestigious universities in Paris, where she taught physics and chemistry to a new generation of scientists. Her lectures were filled with energy and enthusiasm, captivating her students and encouraging them to pursue their own research. As one of the few women in her field, Marie understood the importance of supporting other women in science. She knew the barriers they faced, and she was determined to help break them down. Marie mentored young female scientists, offering guidance and encouragement as they navigated the challenges of a male-dominated industry. Her support was invaluable, giving these women the confidence to pursue their dreams and make their mark in the scientific community. Marie Curie's mentorship extended beyond the classroom. She often invited young scientists to her laboratory, where she shared her research techniques and encouraged them to ask questions. Her approach was collaborative, fostering an environment where everyone felt valued and respected. Marie's willingness to share her expertise made her a beloved figure among her students and colleagues, and many of them went on to achieve great success in their own careers. One of the most significant aspects of Marie's legacy was her ability to inspire people from all walks of life. Her story was one of perseverance and resilience, showing that with hard work and determination, anything was possible. Marie's journey from a modest background in Poland to international recognition as a Nobel Prize-winning scientist resonated with people around the world. Her achievements demonstrated that talent and dedication could overcome any obstacle, regardless of gender or background. Marie Curie's influence on the scientific world was profound. Her discoveries in radioactivity laid the groundwork for new fields of research, and her work in radiotherapy saved countless lives. But it was her spirit and determination that truly captured the imagination of future generations. She was a pioneer, a trailblazer who refused to be limited by societal expectations. Her courage and strength became a source of inspiration for scientists, educators, and aspiring young women. Marie Curie's impact on the scientific community was not limited to her lifetime. Her legacy continued to grow after her death, as new generations of scientists built upon her work. The Radium Institute, which she founded in Paris, became a center for scientific innovation, attracting researchers from around the world. Her influence also extended to education, as universities and schools began to recognize the importance of supporting women in science. The story of Marie Curie has been told and retold in books, films, and documentaries, each time highlighting her remarkable journey. Her life serves as a reminder that the path to success is rarely straightforward, but with determination and a passion for learning, it is possible to achieve greatness. Marie's legacy is a testament to the power of resilience, and her story continues to inspire people to this day. Marie Curie's role as a mentor and her lasting impact on the scientific world cannot be overstated. She was a pioneer who broke through barriers and paved the way for future generations. Her dedication to education and her commitment to helping others set a standard for what it means to be a true scientist. Marie's influence will continue to inspire and guide those who follow in her footsteps, ensuring that her legacy remains alive for generations to come. Chapter 15. Health Decline. Marie Curie's groundbreaking work with radium and radioactivity transformed science, but the years of exposure to radiation came at a significant cost to her health. Though she was known for her incredible resilience and dedication to her research, the effects of radiation were subtle and cumulative, slowly eroding her vitality. This chapter explores the onset of Marie's illness, the struggles she faced as her health declined, and how she continued to work despite these challenges. Marie had always been tireless in her pursuit of scientific knowledge. She spent long hours in the laboratory, experimenting with radioactive materials without fully understanding the risks. In those early days, safety protocols were minimal and the dangers of radiation were not yet clear. Marie often handled radium and polonium with bare hands, storing them in glass containers that she carried in her pockets. The glowing blue light of radium was mesmerizing, but it was also a sign of the potent energy that would eventually affect her health. As the years passed, Marie began to notice signs of fatigue and weakness. At first, she dismissed these symptoms as a natural consequence of her intense work schedule. She was known for her relentless drive, and it wasn't unusual for her to work late into the night, often forgetting to eat or rest. But the fatigue persisted, and she began to experience aches and pains in her bones and joints. These symptoms were more than just exhaustion. They were the early signs of radiation-induced illness. Marie Curie was not one to complain or seek attention, so she continued her work despite the increasing discomfort. She believed that her research was too important to abandon, even as her health deteriorated. She took on additional responsibilities at the Radium Institute, mentoring young scientists and overseeing experiments. Her commitment to her work was unwavering, and she refused to let her declining health slow her down. As her condition worsened, Marie's colleagues and family became increasingly concerned. Her daughters, Irene and Eve, noticed that their mother was often too tired to spend time with them, and she seemed to be in constant pain. Despite their pleas for her to rest, Marie insisted on continuing her research. She believed that her work could make a significant difference in the world, and she was determined to see it through. Marie Curie's declining health affected every aspect of her life. Simple tasks became more challenging, and she struggled to maintain her energy throughout the day. Yet her passion for science remained undiminished. She continued to give lectures and attend conferences, sharing her knowledge and inspiring others. It was clear to those around her that she was pushing herself to the limit, but Marie's dedication was unstoppable. As her illness progressed, Marie began to rely more on her colleagues and students to carry out experiments and manage the Radium Institute. She trusted them to continue her work, knowing that they shared her commitment to advancing the field of radioactivity. This transition marked a shift in her role, from active researcher to mentor and advisor. It was a difficult adjustment, but Marie embraced it, understanding that her health required a different approach. The effects of radiation on Marie's health were becoming more apparent, and the scientific community started to recognize the dangers of prolonged exposure. Marie's work played a crucial role in raising awareness about these risks, leading to the development of safety protocols that are still in use today. Her own suffering served as a cautionary tale, highlighting the need for caution and protective measures when working with radioactive materials. Despite her declining health, Marie Curie's spirit remained strong. She continued to inspire those around her, showing that even in the face of adversity, it was possible to make a difference. Her determination and courage became a source of strength for her colleagues, who were determined to carry on her legacy. Marie Curie's health decline was a tragic consequence of her groundbreaking work, but her legacy endures. She showed that the pursuit of scientific knowledge often comes with risks, but it also has the potential to change the world. Her story is a reminder that even in the face of great suffering, the human spirit can remain resilient and hopeful. Marie's journey was a testament to the power of dedication and the enduring impact of a life dedicated to science. Chapter 16. The Final Years. Marie Curie's final years were a time of both great achievement and deep suffering. The pioneering scientist who had won 2 Nobel Prizes and changed the world with her discoveries in radioactivity was now facing the harsh effects of years of exposure to radiation. Despite her declining health, Marie remained dedicated to advancing scientific knowledge, refusing to let personal suffering stop her from contributing to the field she loved. The signs of Marie's health decline had been apparent for some time. She suffered from fatigue, persistent pain, and a general weakening of her body. The same radium that had brought her fame and recognition was now taking a toll on her health. The effects of radiation exposure were not well understood during her lifetime, and the safety protocols we know today were still a long way off. Marie often ignored her symptoms, focusing instead on her work at the Radium Institute and her commitment to mentoring young scientists. As her health deteriorated, Marie's ability to work in the laboratory diminished. She had to rely more on her colleagues and assistants to carry out experiments and conduct research. This transition was difficult for her. She had always been a hands-on scientist, thriving in the lab where she could explore and discover. Now she had to take on a more advisory role, guiding others while she focused on her recovery. Despite her limitations, Marie continued to make significant contributions to science. She published research papers, gave lectures, and attended scientific conferences when she could. Her presence at these events was a testament to her resilience, inspiring others with her determination and passion for learning. Even as her health declined, she remained a respected figure in the scientific community, known for her groundbreaking work and her role as a trailblazer for women in science. Marie Curie's dedication to science extended beyond her own research. She was deeply committed to supporting the next generation of scientists, especially women who faced similar challenges to those she had encountered earlier in her career. She mentored young researchers, providing guidance and encouragement as they pursued their studies. Marie's influence as a mentor was profound, helping shape the careers of many scientists who would go on to make their own mark on the world. As her final years approached, Marie found solace in her family. Her daughters, Irene and Eve, were a source of comfort and strength during her most challenging times. Irene, who had followed in her mother's footsteps by pursuing a career in science, became a close collaborator, often assisting Marie in her research. Eve, a talented writer and musician, brought joy to Marie's life with her creative spirit. The bond between mother and daughters was strong, providing Marie with the support she needed to navigate the difficulties of her declining health. Despite her personal suffering, Marie's commitment to science and education never wavered. She continued to advocate for the importance of scientific research and the role it could play in improving people's lives. Her work with the Radium Institute, which she had founded to advance the study of radioactivity, remained a priority. She ensured that the Institute would continue to thrive after her passing, setting the stage for future generations of scientists to build on her legacy. Marie Curie's final years were marked by a sense of reflection and acceptance. She knew that her health was failing, but she also understood the impact she had made on the world. Her discoveries had revolutionized science, and her work had paved the way for new medical treatments and scientific breakthroughs. Marie's story was one of triumph over adversity, a testament to the power of resilience and determination. On July 4, 1934, Marie Curie passed away from aplastic anemia, a condition linked to her prolonged exposure to radiation. Her death was a great loss to the scientific community and to all those who had been inspired by her journey. Yet, her legacy lived on. The Radium Institute continued to advance the study of radioactivity, and her daughters carried forward her commitment to science and education. Marie Curie's final years were a reminder that even in the face of great suffering, one can find purpose and meaning. Her dedication to advancing scientific knowledge, despite personal challenges, serves as an enduring inspiration to all who seek to make a difference in the world. Marie's journey from a young girl in Poland to a Nobel Prize-winning scientist is a story that continues to inspire and captivate, showing that with courage and determination, anything is possible. Chapter 17. A Lasting Legacy. Marie Curie passed away on July 4, 1934, after a long battle with aplastic anemia, a condition linked to her prolonged exposure to radiation. Her death marked the end of an era, but her impact continued to grow. The legacy she left behind would shape the course of science for decades to come, and her recognition would extend far beyond her lifetime. This chapter explores the lasting legacy of Marie Curie, highlighting the impact she made on science, education, and the advancement of women in STEM fields. Marie Curie's contributions to science were groundbreaking. Her discovery of radium and polonium, along with her pioneering work in radioactivity, transformed the way scientists understood the structure of atoms. These discoveries opened the door to new fields of research and led to significant advancements in medicine and industry. Marie's work laid the foundation for modern radiotherapy, providing new treatments for cancer patients and giving hope to those with previously untreatable conditions. After her passing, the scientific community continued to build on Marie's legacy. The Radium Institute, which she founded in Paris, became a center for scientific innovation, attracting researchers from around the world. The Institute's work in radioactivity and related fields continued to grow, driven by Marie's commitment to advancing scientific knowledge. Her influence on the Institute's direction was profound, and her emphasis on collaboration and mentorship helped create a vibrant research community. One of the most significant aspects of Marie's legacy was her role as a trailblazer for women in science. During her lifetime, women faced significant barriers in education and the workplace, often excluded from opportunities that were readily available to men. Marie's success as a Nobel Prize-winning scientist shattered these barriers, proving that women could excel in scientific fields. Her journey from a young girl in Poland to one of the most respected scientists in the world inspired countless women to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Marie Curie's legacy extended beyond the scientific community. Her story became a symbol of resilience and determination, capturing the imagination of people around the world. Books, films, and documentaries about her life brought her journey to a wider audience, highlighting her achievements and the challenges she overcame. Her story resonated with those who believed in the power of education and the pursuit of knowledge, inspiring new generations to follow in her footsteps. One of the most significant posthumous recognitions of Marie Curie's legacy came in 1995, when she became the first woman to be laid to rest in the Pantheon in Paris on her own merits. The Pantheon is a prestigious resting place for France's most celebrated figures, including Voltaire, Rousseau, and Victor Hugo. Marie's inclusion in this distinguished group was a powerful statement about the impact she made on the world. Her presence in the Pantheon symbolized the recognition of her achievements and the breaking of barriers for women in science. Marie Curie's influence on education and scientific research continued to grow after her death. The Curie family became synonymous with scientific excellence, with her daughter Irene Joliot-Curie also winning a Nobel Prize in chemistry for her work in radioactivity. The family's commitment to advancing scientific knowledge became a lasting legacy, inspiring new generations of scientists to push the boundaries of what was possible. Marie Curie's legacy also had a profound impact on the advancement of women in STEM fields. Her story became a rallying cry for gender equality, demonstrating that women could achieve greatness in fields traditionally dominated by men. Organizations dedicated to promoting women in science often cited Marie Curie as a role model, using her journey as an example of what could be accomplished through hard work and determination. The story of Marie Curie is a testament to the power of resilience and the enduring impact of a life dedicated to science. Her legacy continues to inspire people around the world, reminding them that with courage and determination, they can overcome any obstacle. Marie's journey, marked by triumphs and tragedies, is a story that will continue to captivate and motivate future generations, proving that one person can change the world. Chapter 18. Marie Curie. Today. Marie Curie passed away in 1934, but her influence on modern science and education is stronger than ever. Her groundbreaking work on radioactivity, her 2 Nobel Prizes, and her role as a trailblazer for women in science have made her a symbol of perseverance and dedication. This chapter explores Marie Curie's lasting impact on the scientific community, how her story continues to inspire new generations of scientists, and her role in promoting gender equality in academia and beyond. Marie Curie's discoveries in radioactivity laid the foundation for many modern scientific advancements. The elements she and her husband, Pierre Curie, discovered, polonium and radium, transformed our understanding of the atom and led to new fields of research. Today, her work continues to have a significant impact on medicine, particularly in the treatment of cancer. Radiotherapy, which uses targeted radiation to treat tumors, is a direct result of Marie's pioneering research. Her contributions to science are still felt in laboratories and hospitals worldwide. Beyond her scientific achievements, Marie Curie's story resonates with people because it is a tale of resilience and determination. She faced countless obstacles, from discrimination and financial hardship to the loss of loved ones, yet she never gave up on her passion for science. Her journey from a young girl in Poland to one of the most respected scientists in history is a testament to the power of perseverance. This story of triumph over adversity has inspired countless people to pursue their dreams, regardless of the challenges they face. Marie Curie's influence extends beyond the scientific community. Her story has become a symbol of gender equality, showing that women can excel in fields traditionally dominated by men. At a time when women were often excluded from higher education and professional opportunities, Marie broke through barriers and achieved greatness. Her success as a Nobel Prize-winning scientist has inspired new generations of women to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM. In academia, Marie Curie's legacy has had a profound impact. Universities and educational institutions often use her story to promote gender equality and encourage diversity in STEM fields. Her journey demonstrates that talent and dedication can overcome societal biases, and that creating opportunities for women in science benefits everyone. Many programs and scholarships are named in her honor, aimed at supporting women pursuing careers in science. Marie Curie's influence on modern education is also significant. Her approach to teaching and mentoring young scientists emphasized collaboration and the sharing of knowledge. She believed that science should be accessible to everyone and encouraged her students to ask questions and explore new ideas. This collaborative spirit has become a guiding principle in modern education, fostering environments where students feel valued and empowered to pursue their interests. In popular culture, Marie Curie's story continues to captivate audiences. Books, films, and documentaries about her life bring her journey to a wider audience, highlighting her achievements and the obstacles she overcame. These portrayals often emphasize her resilience and determination, presenting her as a role model for anyone facing challenges in their pursuit of knowledge. The widespread recognition of her story has helped keep her legacy alive, ensuring that new generations are inspired by her example. Marie Curie's influence on modern science and education is a testament to her enduring legacy. Her story serves as a reminder that one person, with enough courage and determination, can change the world. The challenges she faced and the successes she achieved continue to inspire people around the globe. Her work in radioactivity and her role as a trailblazer for women in science have left an indelible mark on history, and her story will continue to motivate and empower future generations. As the world moves forward, Marie Curie's legacy remains a guiding light for those who believe in the power of knowledge and the pursuit of scientific discovery. Her journey, marked by both triumphs and tragedies, shows that even in the face of adversity, it is possible to make a significant impact. Marie Curie's influence on modern science and education is a story that will continue to be told, inspiring new generations to follow their passions and work toward a better future.